Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, world. Hello, and welcome back to yet another fun-filled episode here with us on the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast. As we embark upon what will be another great episode this morning, we thank you all for chopping it up with us, and we thank you in advance for a time that will be had. And so, yes, well, we are back like a shark attack, back like we left something, back like we ain't got no clothes on our back, and for the world is a better place in the moment when the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast is taking place. And so, we thank you for tuning in with us this morning as we converse about the latest sports topics that have taken place from this past week and will be upcoming this week. It is always a blast to have you all tune in and participate with us every weekend. As a reminder that every week we always like to begin our podcast by reminding our audience that the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast can be found on Facebook via our two Facebook pages, the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast community page, as well as additionally on our Early Morning Sports Talk podcast Facebook page. You can find us on Instagram at EMSTP underscore. Again, on IG at EMSTP underscore. YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify's The Early Morning Sports Talk podcast, as well as our own Facebook pages via Brandon Price, Jamar Goodman, and Jones, as well as a guest if we have one for that weekend. Today is March 28th, 2026, and we have seen yet again another fascinating week in the sports world. Where this past week we saw Sweet 16 action, in which Jamar, the Big Ten, showed out. It literally came down to Michigan State being the team that actually could have made it through as well. They were 6 points short, and they put up a great fight last night against UConn. But the fact that there's four teams out of the eight teams says a lot about the Big Ten. We'll talk about it shortly because we know that additionally you talked about the Big Ten prior to the NCAA tournament on the NCAA tournament special. And so you get a chance to talk about your Boilermakers, U of I, Michigan, etc. Additionally, we are seeing things get heated up in the NBA playoff race where things are tight now between the Knicks, Celtics, who are both getting hot at the right time, but you can argue the Knicks had a bad loss last week. Or actually this past couple days against a red hot Charlotte Hornets team. But the Celtics took care of the Thunder this past week. And the Lakers and Pistons, they had a great contest. And the Rockets and Timberwolves, Jamar, they played in one of the best games all year. And so additionally, in the Western Conference, things are tight as well between 3 through 7, with the Spurs playing great basketball and Victor Wembanyama now making a strong case for MVP, especially now with the absence of Cade Cunningham. And so with that being said, introducing our brother from another mother and my partner here on the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast, Mr. Jamar Goodman. Mr. Jamar Goodman, good morning, sir. How are you?
Hey, I'm good. You see the shirt, Big P, Purdue. That's it.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And so let's talk about the NCAA tournament. And so, but before we get into the NCAA tournament, Chloe, can you do me a favor? Can you bring me BJ? We have a very special announcement. And so, Brandon Price Jr. Chloe, rapidement, s'il vous plaît. And I'm speaking in French. Merci. And so, Brandon Price Jr. Yes, I guess if you look at him, maybe you can see the resemblance in the face. And so we got to be careful because if not, it won't be no podcast this morning. And so, Brandon Price Jr. is 1 year old today. And so, happy birthday to Brandon Price Jr.
Happy
Hello,
birthday.
everybody.
Hey.
Say hello, Early Morning Sports Talk podcast community. Hello, everybody. Hello out there. Yes. And he's going to turn up today, as we say in English. He's going to turn up today, as we say in Chicago. He's going to have fun and get cake. And he's going to get drunk off some cake today. Yay. Yay. He's ready. You see with the clap already? Yes, he's ready. He's ready. He's ready. He's ready. Yes. And so, yay. Oui, joyeux anniversaire, joyeux anniversaire, joyeux anniversaire, joyeux anniversaire. Oui. Yes, sir. And so, Jamar, my bro, let's get into the sports, man. And so, we got Sweet 16 action that took place, the Elite Eight. And we got some Elite Eight action taking place today and tomorrow. Break down the weekend, man. What games stood out to you? What stood out to you? Etc. Let's talk about it, bro, as we get our tags in.
All right. Well, I'll start with the team that I have here. I had like probably a series of like several mini heart attacks watching Purdue play Texas. Um, dude, cause so they had two kids on that team that just wouldn't like go away. Actually, three, but
Hmm.
the guy Mark, last name Mark, he would not miss, and he was just
He
hitting
was hot, wasn't he?
he was. It was one of those to where when you hot, like when you shoot a ball, it feels like it's going in the ocean. That's how like that's how big
Hmm.
it felt like, and that's how it felt like watching him. Just every time he pulled up, I'm like, that's going in, and for the better
He,
part, it was going in every time on a hobbled
yeah,
leg.
yeah, yeah, man. He had a shooter's touch.
He did, and he out there like toughing it out, like he could barely move, and he out there just giving it his all. And I'm just like, man, win or lose, I give that man all his respect. Um,
Hmm.
But yeah, Texas played Purdue close, and Braden Smith, show why he's like one of the best guards to ever play in NCAA basketball. So yeah, shout out Purdue on that one. You know, Illinois, the Fighting Illini.
Illinois, man. What a
They,
defensive out. And people, go ahead, bro. I got something to say about that for sure.
man, the way that they won. The fact it's not even the fact that they beat Houston; it's how they beat Houston. They beat Houston at their own game. They toughed it out. It was gritty. Like Illinois, like winning the rebound battle. They only scored 65 points. We're a team that scores a lot more than that, but they did enough. And the fact that they're able to win in that style of basketball, that pretty much opened my eyes a lot more than I initially thought. Heck, I got them in my Final Four, but man, the way that they took care of Houston with the game playing in Houston,
In
that
Houston,
that was impressive. That's probably their best win all year. I'm not even
I
exaggerating.
think I think that's the best win all year. They had some
Yeah,
good ones, but that's the best win all year, bro. Illinois, as we get our tag then, they and I said this to Ian on Monday, they had the best offense in the country, Jamar. I don't know if you know that, efficiency wise.
yeah,
The number one offense in the country, which means that they can score, obviously, right? And you
right.
gotta it's a track meet to beat them. But what was crazy is that they actually did the opposite. They played defense. And that makes Illinois, Jamar, super dangerous because if they can beat you defensively on top of them on what they got already offensively with Merkovic, Stojakovic, with Nagler, they got multiple guys that can score, and they got a big man that's very versatile. He can defend, Jamar. He can shoot from the outside. He can take you on the inside, and he's very, very active on the boards. You got Stojakovic who can get hot. He got hot that first half. You got Nagler, who is a potential first round pick. Illinois looked good, Jamar.
They did, man.
You know what?
And
When I give you that look, bro, after all these years, Illinois look good, dog.
dude, and pretty much with Iowa meeting Nebraska in that matchup, and Iowa, playing hot right now, and the fact that Illinois and Iowa play next is guaranteed at least one Big Ten team in the Final Four. So, and I'm
Hmm.
pretty sure there's nobody that I'm aware of that had Illinois and Iowa meet in the Elite Eight. But hey, this is why we play the game. Um,
Right?
so Arizona and Arkansas, that was the first time all year that I really got to like really watch both of those teams closely, and I really saw why Darius Acuff is as elite as he is, and I also see why that Arizona is
A lot
regard
of people's pick.
yes regarded as the team because my gosh, I'm sitting here watching this game like. I don't know if my school gonna be either one of these teams as I'm watching this game, especially Arizona. Dude, that
They
team
can
is
beat you in so many ways.
loaded.
Yeah, they're very talented. And it's not even to mention what they do defensively.
Man, and they don't even shoot threes. That's the thing. They don't shoot a lot of threes. They don't have to. And that's the scary part. In this day and age
Right.
where the three ball is so like prominent and like as frequent as a layup, they don't shoot a lot of them because they don't have to, and that's scary.
They can beat you in the mid range, Shamar. They can beat you down low. I mean, they obviously got one of the tallest or one of the biggest men in the country. Um, and he's a great defender as well. So it ain't like playing against Arizona. You finna just go in and dunk on them. It ain't like, A Cuff. He was getting his buckets, but he had to work for every bucket, And it wasn't like he could just go to the lane and just get an easy layup. That wasn't happening.
No,
You can see
Arkansas,
the amount of points that they. Go ahead.
No, go ahead, finish.
I was just saying, like with Arizona, you can see the distance between them and other schools. Every game thus far, they've kicked everybody ass so far. At least by double digits. And so this is saying a lot about Arizona and just how good they are. No, they got great point guard play. And what really works in the NCAA tournament, you can laugh, Jamar, when you have a Mighty Mouse point guard, somebody like a high energizer bunny that's running all around the court, they got about everything you can think of in Arizona. Potential first round picks, multiple, maybe 2 to 3. I can see why Arizona is a very popular pick. But I'm going to talk about another school after you talk about this one. Talk about first round picks.
Fair enough. And then, yesterday's games, last night, man, I feel for St. John because they had Duke. This is one of those to where Duke has been scraping by, but, I mean, a win is a win. But I'm just 14 to play a full 40 minutes against Duke, like all the way. And maybe we'll see it, maybe not, but it's like, I can understand why, John Shire is regarded as a pretty darn good coach. Because when he saw, like, their momentum and the game unraveling, he'll make a defensive switch or offense. He'll make some type of adjustment. Like when they went to a 3-2 zone in that second half, that changed the momentum of the game for St. John in the wrong way. And it gave Duke life. And Duke took full advantage of that in the second half. Because at one point it was looking bad, but I mean, Duke pulled it off. Michigan handled business. I fell asleep on the Michigan State UConn game, but based on what I saw when I fell asleep to the final score, I guess Michigan State ended up making a run.
They did because I was keeping an eye on the game, and Connecticut was, Connecticut was controlling the game, bro. And I looked up and I said it was only a 6-point loss. I'm like, that means Michigan State made a run in the second half for sure.
Actually, they lost by 4, but still, like they
lost by 4. Okay.
At one point, they was getting smacked by like 18 points. And I'm like, man, I'm not saying up for this. I'm going to sleep. That's how I felt.
Yeah.
And then the last one, Tennessee. The way Tennessee beat down Iowa State, that was a little alarming. A little bit.
Wow.
Did not see that all the way coming, but we in the bracket. I mean, we're in the tournament, so you never know.
Right. And Tennessee, I didn't pick them. I picked Iowa State to go to the regional final against Michigan. But, that's why we play the game. And the way that Tennessee beat Iowa State, definitely very interesting. But Duke, they got the best player in the country. It ain't sexy how they winning, but they're winning, Jamar. And the scary part about Duke for me is that they haven't played their best game yet, in my opinion. And so I think they got better basketball left in them, possibly. Perhaps tomorrow might be the end. We'll see, because they play a tough UConn team. And for me, I got UConn actually, at least in 2 of my brackets. I got UConn beating Duke, and then I got Duke winning it all. And so that's a big game for me tomorrow and on multiple brackets. But then also Michigan is a champion in one of my brackets too. But the way Michigan and Tennessee, Jamar, Michigan hasn't sweated at all this bracket. Have you noticed, bro? They haven't sweated at all in the Midwest region.
I would say, well, the halftime score was a little alarming against Alabama, but then the second half they just turned it up. But other than that, yeah, Michigan just been cruise control.
Yeah, they've been in cruise control pretty much most of this tournament. They've been taking care of business in a very, very good way. Pretty dominant. And so it's, I think most of us, though, when we kind of looked at Michigan, we looked at Michigan as a team that could kind of cruise through the bracket. And so that's what's been happening. Yeah, bro. But on the other hand, Jamar, let's make some picks, bro. We got Iowa and Illinois. Now, it's obvious that you pick Illinois to go to the Final Four, but you still got Illinois, right? You still got Illinois over Iowa based off of what you've seen thus far
Absolutely.
this tournament.
Absolutely. I mean, it's a Big Ten matchup, so there's some familiarity there. But I mean, look, if it would be a travesty if Illinois lose to Iowa, it would be a complete travesty.
It would be this college basketball, man. Now Iowa got them long boys that can shoot them three. They kind of remind me of that Wisconsin team, Jamar, that spoiled everybody's bracket that year. End up beating Kentucky in the final. They remind me of that team so much. Just long, lengthy, excuse my French, long, lengthy white boys that can play defense, long arms, can shoot the three, can take you in, and they just play with a lot of energy. They running around the court, scattering everybody. It's exactly how they beat the favorite. It's exactly how they beat Florida.
Hey, I get it, but hey, Illinois, to my understanding, has the tallest lineup in college basketball, so they can match that length.
Right. And they can match that offensive proficiency too.
Oh, fine.
And so Illinois could obviously score the ball. I will say this, Jamar. I'm going to give them a game, I believe. They're going to give them a tough game. But I think Illinois prevails in that one. If they lose, it'll be a lot of Illinois fans like, man, this was our chance. This was our best chance since 05.
Yeah, they can't lose this one. They have to go to Indianapolis for the final. They have to. You cannot lose this game.
Yeah, it's crazy because you're going up against a Big Ten opponent who knows you pretty well. You played them in the regular season, and so it's going to be interesting to see how that one turned out. But got Illinois. Corey, who you got for that one? Illinois, Iowa, Michigan. Yeah, I agree, bro. They had the easiest bracket. I agree, Jamar, as well. Michigan had the easiest bracket. They haven't really sweated much. And it's the reason why some people picked them as the national champion. It's the reason why Jamar picked them to go to the Final Four. And so, we'll see what Tennessee gives them. We'll see. That will take place tomorrow. Purdue and Arizona, obviously, you got Purdue, Jamar. But are you, based off of what you've seen thus far from both teams, being non-biased, who do you think win this game?
Arizona. Arizona probably is. I do not have the warm and fuzzies. I'm part of me feel like we're gonna get the doors blown off. Like I'm not even joking. Like if Purdue is gonna win this game, first and foremost, they have to play at their pace, slow it down. Purdue is one of the slower teams as far as pace in the country. You cannot play at the speed that Arizona was playing against Arkansas. You cannot. This game will be over quick. You have to slow it down. You have to make them work for it. You have to. It's like pretty much the style of play that they played against Texas, where they was like, getting the ball inside, creating all kinds of havoc with foul trouble. You have to do it again. Brady Smith has to play all like lights out.
He got to have a game today. You got to have a memorable game today.
Yes, I need like 20 and 10 type numbers out of him. Like it has to. I need both the bigs to actually play big because you got to match Arizona. You got to play flawless and hope they make mistakes. So Arizona probably win this game, but I'm rooting for my school until until the final whistle. So,
Yep. Yeah. And as far as what do you say? The other games. I want to pay attention to this comment really quickly, Jamar. Corey, he believes that Ben McCullum, the head coach of Iowa, will outcoach Underwood. It's interesting. I don't know if I do want to point this out and shout out to Underwood, Brad Underwood. This is our second Elite Eight in the last 3 years.
Yeah,
you know that, right, Jamar?
Yeah, because
We
they
lost
played
to
UConn
a couple years back.
And that's when Illinois was giving it to UConn in the first half, and then all of a sudden, I think UConn went over in a 27-0 run or something like that.
Historic run. They went on a historic run. I mean, that run was so historic. I looked up, and it was about 5 minutes later. I'm like, the game over.
Dude, and that's when we knew that it was over. That UConn was going to win this whole thing. That's when we knew.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah, it wasn't going to be too much of a challenge for UConn. And that was the year that Purdue went to the National Championship.
Yeah, we tried. We tried.
It was a good game in the first half, man, and a good game for like the first 5 minutes of the first half. Then after that, you began to see UConn, kind of wear them down.
I mean, with Castle and Klingman and dude, they just had an onslaught of players that was just.
They had a big dude that could actually match with Zach Edey. Remember that big, tall dude?
That's Klingman. Yeah, okay. He played for the Trailblazers.
Okay, right, because I know he in the NBA. Yeah, man, really talented team, that team. And they had another guy too, man. I don't know. No, not Stephen Castle that played for us. There's another guy.
I know you're talking about. He was done.
I just know his face. I know his face.
Yeah.
But that was a nice team. And so my thing is, UConn can get it done. Iowa can definitely get it done against U of I. But U of I, they are so talented. This is the opportunity. This is the opportunity here on the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast. We pointed out since 2005, this is the best opportunity for the University of Illinois to make the Final Four. And according to Jamar, you got to get it done, especially if the Final Four is going to be in Indianapolis. You can drive 3 hours. So, but Iowa had to just drive 3 hours too. Maybe what, 4?
Still, I mean, you got to get it done. I mean, there have been people questioning Underwood's coaching ability this whole year, and I get it. But the players, I think it's more so on the players than the coach on this one. Like, if you want to cut down the nets and go to the Final Four, you got to go out there and just play ball. In my opinion, players got to play.
Players got to play. Yes. Additionally, bro. Tomorrow, we got for the Midwest region, we got Tennessee and we got Michigan. And so obviously you got you got Michigan, and you believe that Michigan takes care of Tennessee handily. You believe it's going to be a tight game. You think that Tennessee gonna give them a run for their money?
I mean, I'll put it to you like this. I mean, Tennessee has won 3. I don't know if it was the first 4 games, but anyway, I mean they won games to get to this point.
Exactly, they are so slept on because you're right. They I don't know if they played in the first 4.
I don't know.
They played one of the first 4 teams.
They played. I'll put it to you like this: they beat an Iowa State team by 14 points. Yeah, they I think Iowa State was missing their best player, but Iowa State has been a really good team all year, and for them to do that,
they beat Miami, Ohio. They crushed Miami, Ohio. Now, people not paying attention to it, but Miami, Ohio had lost 1 game that year. They lost 1 game.
Oh yeah,
but they made Miami, Ohio look like they ain't belong in the tournament
at all. You're correct. I watched that game. That was a beat down. A beat down. I think Tennessee, it could be like in first half, like Tennessee make them work, make it close, and then Michigan just turns up and this game's a wrap by the 10-minute mark in the second half. Like that's how I'm viewing it. Michigan wins.
Right. And then that gauntlet for the East, that's the East between Duke and UConn. Who you got for that one? For me, I had UConn coming out of that bracket, but then honestly, in one of my brackets, I got Duke coming out. But just based off of today and what I've seen from both teams, I'm stuck, and I need to maybe listen to you and maybe get Corey's thoughts or something. But who you got for this one, bro?
Well, so in a lot of, and I guess in a couple of brackets, I had Duke losing in last night's matchup.
Right. A lot of people had them losing to St. John's actually. The winner between them and Kansas.
And I had pretty much Michigan State going to the Final Four, but I felt like the winner of the UConn-Michigan State game will go to the Final Four. So, I mean, I am leaning UConn, and I would say part of the reason why is the coaching. And Shire is a great coach. But I will always, in that matchup right now, I would give the edge to Hurley. Like, I would. Because, I mean, the man, he has an opportunity of winning 3 out the last 4 years. People forget about that.
Right.
Like, he knows how to get it done multiple times. And if they played the way that they played against Michigan State in the first half for majority of the game, I don't know if Duke is going to fully recover like they did against St. John or Siena or whatever the case may be. But Corey did mention earlier about Caleb Foster. That was a difference maker last night. So I just want to know how healthy he is, because that could be the true X factor in this whole matchup. But I'm leaning
right. Right. Mm-hmm. Yes. Victor, good morning, bro. Victor got the Blue Devils.
He's a Duke fan.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And so he got the Blue Devils. Victor, morning, bro. Absolutely. Totally can see your point. They got one of the best freshman class in the country, the best freshman in the country, #1 overall pick. He played a great game again last night, Boozy. And so just a talented team, Duke, Jamar. A talented ass team. And I'm wondering if that talent's gonna overcome a great team with with Duke. And so I'm gonna go with UConn as I have to, because that's what I picked in my bracket. And it's because of Coach Hurley. It's because of his program. He got a great program. Dude wins. He gets the best out of his players. He's like a baby Tom Izzo, except he actually he's winning national championships. Izzo would kind of shock a lot of teams, go to the Final Four. You don't expect, like, how the hell they get to the Final Four? How they get to the Elite Eight? How they get there? But Hurley, he's getting the best out of his players. I got UConn. I got Michigan. I got who else we were talking about, bro? Illinois and Iowa. Of course, the one with Illinois. And then Purdue and Arizona, bro. I studied at Purdue. But when I look at Arizona, Arizona's the better team, man. And I don't know if Purdue got enough. I don't know if they got enough, Jamar. I just don't know if they got enough. Any other team, I would pick Purdue, but they playing the best team arguably in the country, though. So
I'm gonna go out swinging with my Purdue shirt today. I'm gonna go out swinging.
Yeah. One thing I want to say really quickly, bro, is let's talk about it. Women's side, I feel really bad for Flagg Johnson.
Man, that buzzer beater.
That buzzer beater last night. Ball rolled out around the rim. This is another great moment for you, Victor, because the Duke men and women are in the Elite Eight. It's the same for UConn too, by the way. Same for UConn too, bro. And so, I hate to see her collegiate career end like that. But that's been on the women's side. That's been the best moment thus far. That's been the best moment thus far on the women's side. And so, but thus far, bro, based off of the brackets, everything is kind of going as planned. I don't know if there's been any big upsets, Shout out to Hannah Hidalgo.
Man.
Very good game. Very good game. And them winning yesterday was impressive against Vanderbilt. But I actually picked them in my bracket, Jamar. I picked Notre Dame because, no disrespect to Vanderbilt, I just knew Notre Dame had the best player. And I picked Notre Dame because of that, bro. I picked Notre Dame because of that. And so it came out to be what I thought it would be. I didn't have Vanderbilt making the Final Four. I didn't have them even making the Elite Eight. And so so far for me on the women's side, everything is kind of just going as planned. Yeah. Yeah, Duke women usually always let you down. But this year, man, they made it to the Elite Eight. And shout out to Kyra Lawson too. Jamar, you remember Kyra Lawson? I'm sure Vicky, you remember Kyra Lawson.
Oh,
Former WNBA great, former Duke great. Remember watching her in college, actually, watching her whole WNBA career. And so, On the other hand, Jamar, anything else from the collegiate level before we talk about the NBA?
You see it.
Voila. All right. Yes. NBA combo, bro. Man. And this is just as sexy as a tournament for me. The Knicks, though, I'm not so persuaded by the Knicks. I think the Knicks can get got in the first round. That's what's just on my heart right now about the NBA. I'm not so persuaded. They won 7 straight games before they got whooped by Charlotte last night. But the thing is that Charlotte, they are playing some of the best basketball in the NBA. They've been fantastic offensively, scoring the ball. This kid, Nupel, and LaMelo Ball, they out-rebounded the Knicks as they whole team. That's kind of embarrassing for the Knicks. So I'm really not – I knew when they hired Mike Brown, Jamar, and I'm putting this out now that I wasn't going to take them serious because Mike Brown never got it done for me. The only way he got to the finals was because he had a great-ass LeBron James. That's it. But other than that, it wasn't like he was coaching his ass off. Just not for me.
Of course not. And I will continue to say it. If the New York Knicks don't at least get back to the conference finals, everybody else clamoring for Tom Thibodeau to lose his job, what are we doing now? You didn't like the way he coached or how he managed players and their minutes and yada, 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 fine. But at least get back to where you haven't gotten to. Tibbs got you there for the first time in 25 years. Nobody else has done it. The way that this team is going, it don't look like they're going back to that point.
They might get out the first round. I think, Jamar, Charlotte can beat them. But on top of Charlotte, I think that he can beat them just with Bam Adebayo, the nucleus they got, Tyler Hero. They're always tough in April.
What about the Sixers? Can the Sixers get them?
The Sixers, yeah, they just got Joel Embiid back, and they just got
Paul George.
Paul George back, and Tyrese Maxey is on his way back.
Yeah.
And I remember the Knicks beat. I remember the Sixers kicking their ass twice earlier this year. Once in New York and in Philly.
Yeah. What about can Atlanta get them?
Atlanta, one of the hottest teams between C.J. McCollum, Jalen Johnson, Daniels,
Jonathan Kuminga.
The Knicks got a rough road, dog.
What about Toronto? Can Toronto get them?
Toronto can probably give them a run for their money.
What about
and the reason being,
yeah,
you know, I mean, man, you got great scores over there, Scotty Barnes, you know, Brandon Ingram. Yeah, they could give them a run too, man.
And then the last team, Orlando. What about Orlando?
Orlando's been one of the best second half teams too. So, I mean, literally every team we named could definitely get a Knicks a run. And I don't see the Knicks, if they play any of those teams, that being no less than a 6-game series between any of those teams. No less than a 6-game series. And that's with the Knicks playing their best basketball.
Something got to give. Something got to give on that one because it's going to be an ugly first round exit, and then you're just going to hear a lot of uproar.
Yeah. And so, you know,
there we go already.
Bring him.
Tibbs want to come back after the way he was treated.
Yeah, and so this is why I have it as Walker's great. Yeah, and so as far as what is it, the Knicks? We'll see. Mike Brown, is he coaching for his job, Jamar? Do you think so? I hope not, because it's his first year, but it's really something that needs to be talked about. I know people like this is his first year, but when you look at what Tibbs did, it's a valid point. I know, you know, a lot of people might not want to hear that, Jamar. It's an uncomfortable conversation, but it's facts.
No,
it's legit facts.
Yeah, we gonna get real uncomfortable here. I'll put it to you like this: there's certain teams, I feel like in multiple sports, to where winning is the only answer. You know what I mean? Like, so the Lakers, that's one of them. Like, you have to win when you're with the Lakers. The way that the Knicks expectations rose, and you're in the biggest market, you have to win. The Yankees, another team in New York market, you have to win. Duke in North Carolina, basketball-wise, if you're coaching those teams, you have to win. That's the Hubert Davis one. We can discuss that later here in a second. Regardless, expectations are you have a win-now team coming into the season. You was the team in the East that people felt like you had to get it done because to that point, Detroit didn't arrive until this year. Jason Tatum was out with an Achilles injury. We didn't know when he was coming back. The Sixers was plummeting, and the Knicks was standing tall, mighty proud, like this was the team. But yet, they're third in the East, barely hanging on to that. There are a lot of question marks. You got Stephen A. questioning the Michael Bridges trade because he hasn't lived up to his expectations. The defensive
you gave up. He got a right to question that. Chloe, watch BJ. He got the Knicks gave up 7 first-round picks.
Yeah, that sounds like
up seven first-round picks, dog, for a non-all-star.
Yeah, that sounds like an organizational problem.
Yeah.
Nobody told you to do that.
7 first-round picks.
Nobody.
You gotta win.
To do that.
Right. You know, like this is you gotta win. Like you got to, because this is the window. This is it for the Knicks. This is the window. You know? To bring in Mike Brown. And we talking, the playoffs hasn't hit yet. As stated last week, at this point, Jamar, I'm not judging the Knicks on the regular season. I'm just judging them based off of the postseason. Because I'm not really taking them that serious because I know they're trying to go the opposite approach at Tibbs. If they had Tibbs, they'd probably be challenging Detroit somewhere up there for the first seed. Because the Knicks would have won some games that they would normally would have, that they lost this year. They normally would have won some of those games because of Tibbs. But with Mike Brown, perhaps he's going off that mindset that, hey, we going to rest up the guys and we going to keep our guys ready for the real run, And so I'm not judging the Knicks too hard. I'm going to judge them based off of April, Yeah. On the other hand, MVP race, bro. With Cade Cunningham out injured, it's looking like, you still got Cade there, but it's looking like it's between SGA, Wemby, and Luka. And so, based off of that, the interesting fact is that, okay, it looks like that's Wemby. OKC, bro, they've lost one game this month. Well, in a month, they lost one game, and then the Spurs have lost 2 games. So, obviously, these are 2 very good teams. You got Wemby. Is it possible that Wemby can win multiple awards, bro?
Why not? We've seen it in the history of the NBA. If you're that good, you will take home multiple awards. Wemby is that good, and it's scary hours here. Like we talked about the potential of Wemby when he was getting drafted, and it's like, okay, if Wemby lives up to this, then it's going to be trouble for the Western Conference. And I don't know if we thought it was going to happen this year in year 3, but
it's here.
Yeah, we're here. Like, this is the trouble that we thought maybe Zion would have had with the Pelicans, or that Ja Morant would have fully had with the Grizzlies, or whatever the case may be. Wemby is that guy. And it's like watching a video game in real life. It's a cheat code. Like what he's doing, what he's able to do with his size and control the game. And it kind of, and especially on defense, it gives the Bill Russell effect. If I'm not mistaken, Bill Russell, I think it wasn't necessarily him blocking shots, but it's more so him altering the shots. When other people, when they saw Bill Russell, they got scared. When they see Wemby, like you see players second guessing themselves. Like, do I really try to try to do this layup? Right. Do I try to shoot over this man? Like, it's second guessing all over the place. He is a terror. And I think one of the scariest parts about all this, like the minutes that he's playing is not even all the way there yet. If I'm not mistaken. He's not like playing 40 minutes a game. Isn't it closer to 30?
Yeah, more so like that. And I think that's because his coach want to save him for the big run.
And they're winning games like this, and he only playing roughly 30 minutes a game. That's scary. Mm-hmm. That's scary. He's putting up all these stats. He's not even playing like elite superstar numbers yet. I mean, minutes yet. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. And the fact, and if I'm not mistaken, they beat OKC 3 times this year, and they barely lost the last one. I mean, the other time, the one time they lost. So it's like, if they play like this in the playoffs, why can't they be champs this year? Why can't they?
Right. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I'm with you, man. I got Wemby for MVP thus far as well. Coach of the year. It's a lot of great jobs out there, man. I think of Toronto. I think of course, OKC. I think of San Antonio. I think of Detroit. There's some great stories out there, Jamar. Who would be your coach of the year?
For me, it would either be between the coach of the Spurs, I don't know his name, or Brickshire for the Pistons.
Mm-hmm. JB Bickerstaff?
Yeah, that's what I meant. So, because the fact that Detroit still got a 4-game lead in the East, without Cade right now, if they still manage to, be dominant without him until he returns, then that says a lot to me. But that's more so coaching at that point. Without your best player, that means you have to adjust. Guys have to play different roles, things like that. Put them in different positions to be successful. So, but the way the Spurs have just been playing all year, it's like they leapfrog teams that should have been in that spot that we thought was going into this year. So, and the fact that they challenging OKC for that top spot, because if OKC blinks twice, and all of a sudden they're in the second spot and Spurs in the first. So it's that crazy. Right? Spurs on the 7-game. Yep, and they on the 7-game winning streak. The Spurs are. So.
I can see your point for Mitch Johnson for sure. For me, I would go with JB. What they're doing in Detroit, what they're doing without Cade Cunningham. Beating the Lakers the other day was very impressive. Shows how deep the team actually is. And they've not had Isaiah Stewart for a good part of the year. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. But Isaiah Stewart, no, seriously, bro, his ass, he be end up fighting or something. You know how he be. But maybe that's a good thing. But as far as like Detroit, he's done a great job, bro. He's been taking names. He let the Knicks know that he wanted them in the playoffs. He let these teams know that we were coming prior to the season, bro. Because he didn't forget about what happened last year in New York in that 7-game classic. And so, JB Bickerstaff, man, the fact that he's still keeping his team afloat, on a 4-game winning streak, haven't lost the game since the injury of Cade Cunningham, which we talked about last Saturday. Pretty damn good job by JB Bickerstaff, Jamar. And so, I know the Knicks and all those other teams are behind them. And that, the Knicks have been on a little hot streak. Boston has been on like a little hot streak. But, that's a great coaching job, by the way, man. That's a great coaching job, by the way, by Mazzulla in Boston. I just want to mention him. I want to mention who is it? Who is the brother in Charlotte, Jamar? Charles Lee. Charles Lee, the head coach of the Hornets. I want to mention, of course, I can never pronounce his name. I just know how to write it. But Arganabu, the head coach for the Thunder. Fantastic job that he's doing. But for me, the top 2 candidates is between JB Bickerstaff and Mitch Johnson. And so, and if I had to pick the best story, I would go with JB Bickerstaff, so that'd be my coach of the year. Yeah, bro. I don't know if you've been paying attention to the 6-man race, but I know that Naz Reid for the Timberwolves, he's always up there. He's been balling out. I'm trying to think of who else, bro. Is who else is up there? Damn, I can't think of the guy. Does he play for Charlotte? Let me use Google.
Who knows?
Let me use Google, Jamar.
Charlotte got LaMelo, Constantinople, Brandon Miller, Miles Bridges, Kobe White.
Kobe White, yeah, man. He been balling out too for the Hornets. And so, it's led by Naz Reid, but Keldon Johnson is a Reed Shepherd as well. Reed Shepherd, okay. And Keldon Johnson from the Spurs.
Okay.
Yeah. I guess we could say Naz Reid. I'm just outside of Naz Reid. For me, an honorable mention, and they got it online. Tim Hardaway Jr. He been balling for the Nuggets, bro, low key. Just want to put his name out there.
Okay.
Tim Hardaway has always been a pretty decent player, man. And I know Tim Hardaway being from Chicago, I know he's proud to see his son. He's had a very good career. He's been an all-star, not like that, but always been a very good baller, very good scorer. You know,
Yeah.
very talented. Can do a lot with the basketball, and so
And the fact that
I
he's
love to
still,
see him.
nah, I'm with you. And I was gonna say the fact that he's still in the league now, that tells you something. 'Cause usually, a lot of guys that's been in the league as long as he has would have, fizzled out. But
Right. Mm-hmm. Facts. So, yeah. Especially if they know they got a father, right? That got that bag, you know what I'm saying? That made a lot of money during the NBA career, you know. But now it's like a thing, bro. Like it's a lot of fathers now who getting their sons in the NBA, man. And I'm not saying they, pulling strings and nothing like that, but they making them go through the AAU camps. They putting in the work for kids,
yeah,
and it's like it's a good investment now. It's a really good investment now, and so you're seeing kids all over the league, man. That's making the NBA, and so it's great to see. You know.
absolutely.
Yep. So yeah, bro. Anything else from the NBA? You know,
Mm,
anything else from the
nah.
NBA? Anything from Jamar?
Well,
Introducing our new segment.
all right, we got I'll say just a couple of things. I'll definitely put on more next week. But well, as opening day happened. Um,
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
both Chicago teams got the door blown off, but it is what it is. It's just more so. If I'm being honest, like I'm actually excited for baseball this year.
Mhm.
Just based on, I guess, for me, how last season ended, the WBC, I think that brought a lot of
Shout out to Venezuela, man. They got their vengeance on us, Jamar. They got their vengeance. We pointed it out. We pointed it out immediately after the loss, me and Ian. But shout out to Venezuela, man. That was impressive, Jamar, and they did it in Miami too, in the United States. Bunch of Cubans and Venezuelans down there, Caribbean. You know how it is, Miami. It's right
oh
near the
yeah.
Caribbean. It's right near South America. So whole bunch of folks down there, man. And so seeing that happen and seeing the looks on the Americans' faces, even me posting it on the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast page, I got some reactions. And I got some reactions from folks like, so what? Who cares? Like they were kind of pissed. And you could just see the tension between the USA and Venezuela in that game. And so to see Venezuela kind of get that vengeance, it definitely made Donald Trump post. And he posted. He definitely posted.
I'm sure he did. Man,
Definitely posted.
like it feels like the popularity in baseball is starting to come back again. Um, and the WBC, I feel like definitely aided to that just because of how fun it was watching, the excitement, the new age of baseball. Just the celebrating, the bat flips, the I guess not the old traditional way of in the old school rules, just more so just just having expression and emotion and being an individual per se. So I don't know, it just something for me with that and opening day. Like, look, my Sox probably not gonna win no more than 70 games. Fine, but I'm still excited for whatever reason. I have like excitement for this, so we'll see what happens. And then the other thing, I guess, to expand on the NBA here, expansion is
Right.
going.
But before you get to the expansion, Jamal, really
Yeah.
quickly, do you think the Cubs make the playoffs again?
Oh yeah, Cubs should win the division. They should. They locked up some people. What's that? PCA, Pico Armstrong.
Yeah.
They just locked up Nico Horner. I mean, Bregman you just signed. Like the team is loaded. And they keep
Yeah, they
talking
know it's
about it
going
all
on.
the time. They've been talking about it. Like, this team is loaded. So it's been, between the Cubs and the Brewers the last couple of years, and the Cubs have spent on average at least 100 million more than the Brewers, but yet the Brewers still find a way. But if the Cubs are taking that next step, they need to win this division, and they need to, make a deep playoff run here. So they should win the division, Brent. They should.
Right. And
They
let's
really
not
should.
forget, man, they got a lot of Japan talent too. I remember them getting shot Ima Naga. Um, they got some Venezuelan talent. I'm liking how they got a nice balance between their team, between American, and they kind of went overseas to get a good amount of talent too. And so hopefully that works out good for them, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Shit, as long as they healthy and play like they supposed to, they should be around 90 some wins this year. They should. Team is good. Just play
yeah,
like.
right. Let's not forget they got Ian Hop too, very good veteran, World Series winner. Um, he's a great ball player, and so definitely some talent, man. You still got Dansby Swanson, Nico Harner, Michael Bush, Alex
Yep.
Bregman.
Yep.
These are very, very proven guys. Venezuelan talent, Japanese talent. Yeah. So, yeah. All right. So, yeah. All right. And now, bro, the expansion, the NBA. Let's talk
Yes.
about it.
So, yep, expansion is going to happen. One of the teams is the Supersonics coming back, and as for us, that is pretty nostalgic. So I'm all like, anything that's positive as far as being nostalgic, I'm all for it. So I would love to see the Supersonics back, bring back the colors, the logo, the key arena. Like, I know they got to upgrade that arena. I think they actually did, but nevertheless, Seattle's coming back. I'm very excited about that. Las Vegas, they gonna have a team, and it's crazy because, like, this was 15 years ago. Teams in Las Vegas seem taboo, like that can't happen, but I mean, the way that Las Vegas Aces have performed in Las Vegas, the way that the Las Vegas Knights in the NHL, the way they have performed, the fact that
They've been a World Series, a Stanley Cup contender. I mean, they actually won a Stanley Cup a couple years ago.
exactly the fact that the A's will be in Las Vegas next year, if I'm not mistaken, and now you're adding the fourth and final team to that mix, a basketball team, and it's like that city has proven that it can support teams and do it well. And I just
Who
hope
doesn't love Vegas?
exactly it just adds to the attraction of Vegas. Sports and gambling combined, and voila, you have a destination that's going to be, always plentiful. I mean, heck, don't they have what is that? The summer league there in Vegas, if I'm not
Yep.
mistaken. So it was only a matter of time. So with that, the realignment that's taking place, and then the expansion drafts, things of that nature, when they come about, like, it's the landscape of the NBA is going to change again, and it's going to even out some of these teams, and it's going to make things a little interesting. Fortunately and unfortunately, if it happened this year and the way that this draft is set up, it probably would have been pretty good. But I mean, they gonna miss out on this one. But but nevertheless, it's gonna be the NBA is gonna be different, and I think in a good way going forward. I really
I
do.
especially like that in the draft you could take certain players now. Like with these expansion teams, they'll be able to kind of pick some players. And so if a player's frustrated and he's in a losing situation, he could kind of get a blessing if that makes sense. You know, End up somewhere in Vegas, or Seattle.
Yeah.
And Vegas definitely not a bad destination. And so, I mean, it is a bad destination if you kind of go there for certain reasons. But you get my point. it's not a
Correct.
bad destination compared to certain cities. And so, like, some players like Zion Williamson, Ja Morant of the world.
Woo!
Yeah, man. On top of that, some teams got to move east now. And so, for years, I've been always curious, why is Memphis in the West? Like, I understand they're in the South, but they should really be in the East.
Correct.
Why is even New Orleans, like, I know they're not up for topic, but between them and Minnesota, but Minnesota's more west for me, and really New Orleans and Memphis should be the two that should be going east, in my opinion, if we talk geographically. But I know it's been heavily matched between Minnesota and Memphis. But I'm here to say, Jamar, one of those teams go east, it's actually going to be good. If Minnesota go east with Anthony Edwards,
you're right.
Mess around being the finals quick, in my opinion. Because they ain't got to go through that gauntlet out west.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's going to change the landscape of the league for the better, in my opinion. It really is. So, yeah, just imagine Ant in the conference finals against the Celtics or something like that. That'll be box office.
Mm-hmm. And imagine, Ja Morant not being in the East with Memphis if he would have stayed there. I don't see them being super serious, but, if they get some more pieces in Memphis and Ja stay there, they could be somewhere in that bubble too, man, at 7, 8, 9, 10, playing stuff, and they'll be playing relevant basketball again too. And so it'll make it very interesting, dog. Very interesting. And I'm really excited to see the Supersonics come back. I always love the Supersonics.
I did too. I hated they moved to Oklahoma City. I'm like, man, it's just something about Seattle, PNW, that rivalry against them in Portland, like just the whole thing, but happy that they're back.
Right. Yeah. And so, yeah, man. And so, very, very good stuff. Very good stuff, bro. Very good stuff. And so, support this scream. Support this scream. Support the scream. We appreciate the love. You see where Jamar's hand is right there. If you are able to give, we appreciate it. We have purchased merchandise ready for purchasing. So if you got clothing, etc. Sorry, Jamar, for not wearing my shirt, but I know you wore your Purdue shirt. But we got merchandise, clothes, etc. If you want to give, just use your phone. Take you right to our Venmo. Simple, we appreciate it. And so, Jamar, man, you need the people, right? You need the people. You can't progress without the people. You need the people. And so we need you guys. So support the stream. We appreciate it, man. We appreciate it. And so, yes. So, bro, final thoughts and shout-outs, bro, as we head into the weekend. Any final thoughts and shout-outs?
You see the shirt? Let's go, Purdue. Let's go, Purdue. You never know. I don't expect to win, but you never know. That's why we play the games, right? That's why we play the games. Yeah, go Purdue and supporting my team until the final whistle.
Yes, and I'm with you, Jamar. Sentiment Purdue, but additionally, I would love to see Illinois and Purdue in the Final Four.
Heck yeah.
That would just be the best scenario for me. The absolute best scenario. Like, that'd be just great, Jamar. And, from my brackets, I picked Michigan to automatically go to the Final Four because I felt like they had a weak region. We'll see how they do against Tennessee tomorrow. And my national championship pick, Duke. I knew that they didn't have their starters, but, they got Caleb back yesterday. He played a great game. Just a lot of talent on that Duke side. So I'm really interested now to see, Jamar, how Duke does in these now the competition's elite now. It ain't no more room for error now, Jamar, because you got UConn now. It ain't no more room for error. You can't be trying to catch up with teams. You play against UConn behind, they're gonna beat your living you know what. They're gonna just give you what you came for. And so you can't be behind. But I do want to say this, and as we go into this weekend, Illinois, watch out for those fighting the lineup. Watch out for Stojakovic. Watch out for Merkovic. Watch out for Wagler. Very talented team. number one offense in the country. But low key, Jamar, they can beat you defensively. And if you don't believe me, ask Houston. So, with that being said, bro, those are my final thoughts and shout outs. And so, that's it. And so, with that being said, on behalf of the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast, we would like to say thank you for tuning in with us this morning. Continue to chop it up with us and support our podcast on various platforms. And if you are, we'd love to talk sports with us on the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast. We are here and would love to do so with you. Your love and support is truly appreciated. And we hope you all have a blessed day.